rent, and we were just kind of hanging out in the rooms, and up top of the building was another apartment, and these two American older guy heroin addicts lived up there. They were just straight up heroin addicts. You know what I mean? They were just, their arms were just broke out and infested. It was horrible. They were so addicted to the heroin. And one day I went out and they had a pickup truck, a little, like a Toyota or something. And I needed a ride about 60 miles south. And I said, how about it, guys? You want to make a few bucks? Give me a ride. Oh, yeah, we'll give you a ride. I said, okay. So that was a few days later. Before that, I went out and their pickup truck had 4 flat tires on it. Well, I said, what the fuck? I said, your tires are all flat, man. He looks at him, he says, yep, you're right. And he jumps right in it and takes off down the road, 4 flat tires in a little Toyota. Just down the road he went. I'm going, wow, what the fuck? So he went and got the tires fixed. A couple days later is when we went on our journey. I said goodbye to Alicia, and Alicia goes, oh, I wish you wouldn't do this. I said, it'll be fine. I said, I'm going to get somebody else to give me a ride back. I said, but I'll get them to run me down there right quick.
Where were we going?
Fucking south of Alcadonas somewhere.
Yeah, 60 miles south of Los Alcadonas.
Yeah. I was going to go see a friend down there and try to get housing or whatever. And so this guy said, yeah, we'll give you a ride. And I said, well, you know where I got to go, right? You know how to get there? Oh, yeah, we know how to get there. I said, okay, fine. So we're going down the road, and everything's pretty cool. And let's see, then they stop, and they both shoot up heroin right in front of me. And they said, yeah, well, we had to get that out of the way. I said, okay. So now we're going down the road, and they say, hey, isn't that the right we need to take? And the other guy driving says, yep, you're right. So they took the right. And now we're going down this 2-lane paved road in Mexico. Everything's wonderful, right? And we've passed a couple roads off to the left and right. Never once did they talk about turning anywhere. Well, all of a sudden, bro, we are airborne. The road dead-ended, and it turned into like a sand bank, and it went way up high. It was like just a little desert mountain kind of thing of sand. But when we went off the road, there was a lip there, and we slammed into the embankment, and he started to slow down. I said, give it hell, bro. We're going to get stuck. I said, take it to the top, and we'll figure it out up there. So, I mean, the hood was up, the door was open from where we hit so hard, everything had just... So we got to the top, and they shut the fucking thing off. I got out of the truck. I'm going, God damn. I said, maybe I better drive. And he goes, no, you fucking idiot, talking to his friend. You should have told me to turn left back there. I knew it didn't look right. And they were fussing and shit. I said, let's just get out of this sand pit and keep going. So back up out of the road, and we fixed the trunk, and the hood and the door, and down the road we went. Well, now, on the way there's a checkpoint, right? A big Mexican checkpoint, with 10 gates to drive through, and the road gets wide, and we're in traffic, right? And there's like all these cars. I mean, there's lots of cars, and here comes the cops with a drug dog, right? And there comes the drug dog, and he's running around cars. I mean, doing what a drug dog does. He's not on a leash, he's loose. So I'm watching all this, right? And all of a sudden the traffic starts going, and these guys hit the gas pedal and take off just as the drug dog gets in front of us. The truck goes, kaboom, kaboom, the dog goes, ah! And everybody there was looking, and we just kept going past the gate. And I said, man, you just ran over their drug dog. He goes, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, you did. He goes, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, you did. I said, look behind us. And there was a whole bunch of cops standing around the dog. Traffic hadn't moved. And we're the only ones that had gone through the gate and was going down the highway. I'm looking in the back of the mirror. I'm going, we're going to get company soon. I said, those cops are coming for us sure as shit, man. You can't do that. 3 fucking old white boys running over their drug dog. I said, God damn. So I'm looking in the back, and we get on this other road, and still no cops, and no cops ever came after us, but these fucking old drug addicts ran right over the drug dog. I'm going, what the fuck?
I mean,
yeah.
You could look at these two.
Oh, yeah.
They were
so
out. Their bodies were deteriorating.
They didn't even know when the truck went like this, and they heard ki-eyeing, and everybody's going, oh, whoa, they're going. And they never once heard any of it and just kept going. I mean, it's like they didn't even stop after they did it. They just...
So there again, an absolute miracle.
I said, God damn. Yeah,
I wanted to
boy.
kiss the ground, boy.
I was glad to
tell
get
you
out of that
what.
truck, by the way, when I got down there. They said, we want us to wait around and give you a ride back. I said, no.
Oh, no.
I said, my friend would give me a ride back. I said, yeah, I'll just have a good time. And
Mm.
that's the way it went. But I mean, it was just funny to be in Mexico and run over a Mexican drug dog. I said, what the fucking odds of that? I mean, I didn't have any pot or any drugs with me, but they had heroin. God damn. They would have got
It
locked
was
up
sad,
for a minute.
though,
It was
because,
sad.
I mean, they were nice old men, but they were
They were
just
just
old
so
and
strung out.
and
They
all
were-
they had was each other, but they just...
Yeah, they were just living across the border there and rented this shabby little place, and they're just sitting up there doing all their money in heroin.
Oh, and there
All
were
their
these,
retirement.
what did you call those things that girl we saw in the barrio? You know, they were like cardboard. They lived in cardboard.
Oh yeah, boy, down there. They live in cardboard here in America too, but down there they had like 2-bedroom houses out of refrigerator boxes and shit. It was like, what the fuck? I mean, couches, chairs. Yeah, it was pretty.
But
weird.
this little couple, they were like living out of like a little cardboard. It was pitiful. And you could tell that she was such a beautiful girl. Beautiful.
Drugs, bro. That's
Just-
all.
and
Just
she was
fucking
American.
addicts.
Strung out. It was,
Yeah.
I'm sure she died there.
We rented a little house down there, Todd, and it was a nice little house on a little dirt street outside of town, and it was just a nice place, except it had nice windows, but the sun was so bright. So we went out and bought this blanket of a horse and a pony, cheap blanket, just to hang in the window to keep the sun from beating in there so much, right? So I'm hanging up the blanket, and while I'm hanging up the blanket, I couldn't believe it. Running down the road was a horse and a colt, just like on the blanket. I had to get her. I said, Alicia, come see this. You ain't gonna believe it. Come see it. Come see it. She
In the
goes,
middle of this little town.
yeah, it was like the
in the
same
middle of the
horse, the
neighborhood.
same colt
Just-
that was on our blanket ran right down the street in front of that house.
We looked at each other,
I
and
said,
it's
what
like,
the fuck?
what?
And then Alicia always got mad at me when we were driving around down there and come across these checkpoints with machine guns and the sandbag bunkers and military guys standing around. She used to get mad at me because I'd pull in and I'd just get out and say, cigarro? I'd get the cigarettes out. Cerveza, anybody? Oh, yeah. I'd pass them out the beers and sit there and party with the Mexican military. Well, they were military, so I kind of knew how they were looking and thinking, and yeah, I mean, when you didn't go up there acting like a gringo, goddamn, they were all happy to have you. I mean, yeah, I mean, well,
I'll tell you what, if you're a gringo and you go down there and act a fool, they'll haul you off in that little white truck.
handcuffed in the
It was-
back with an M16 pointed at you. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
All those little America boys. Oh, Lord.
Kitty.
Have to scratch that one.
That's great. Kitty came out here to lay with us. Oh, well, that was a funny story in Mexico anyways. And then we visited our friend Concha, and she had a wood stove or wood fire out back with a big steel iron bucket full of beans just to cooking them away. You know, they were great with the wood smoke and the
Oh,
beans.
my
But there was a stack of like pelts sitting on a shelf, and Alicia goes, "Look at that! Is that pelts?" I said, "Yep." And she goes, "Well, what would they be pelts of?" I said, "They're cats." And she goes, "No." I said, "Yeah, look, here's a calico, here's a," and she couldn't believe that there was cats back there. And if you think about it, if you spell taco backwards, it's O-cat. Well, I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I've met people from other countries and they ate cats, you know, especially, I mean, anyway.
Well, you
I
rarely.
just didn't expect
Oh wait,
to
what
see
about the
that
time?
here.
Okay, one
The
day.
chickens.
Wait, one time where we were at, the yards were backed right up, fence to fence to fence to fence, and everybody had a little backyard, right? Well, all of a sudden this duck shows up, right? And the next block over, 2 houses up, was a bunch of little ducklings in the backyard because I was looking to see where the duck came from, a little duck. So we walked the block and come up the next street to find the house that had the ducks, right? So my Spanish sucks. So we go up and knock on the door, right? And this guy comes to the door and he's looking at me. And I said, "Senor, I have your little duck." And he goes, he's looking at me. I said, "Is you a duck?" I said, he took the duck. He's looking at me and he just kind of like takes the duck and closes the door. Well, later on, I figured out it was the wrong house. The guy didn't have ducks, but he was happy to have that duck given to him now.
We babied that duck for several days.
Yeah, but I was at the
Precious.
wrong house. I'd missed the house by a couple houses. After I got back, I looked. I counted houses again. I said, "Oh, fuck, we gave the duck to the wrong guy." But he was looking at me like, "What the fuck is these gringos giving me a fucking duck for?" I mean, you know, it was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty fucking funny. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Concha, she had peacocks and she had chickens and
Oh, yeah.
she had a little baby chickens, and somehow along the little fence there they got out and they were traveling around. And
Remind you, this is real old-fashioned Mexican folks. To the core, old-fashioned Mexican. No Americanization on these folks at all. And who was the guy?
Victor,
Victor.
we were up. Now let me tell you what now. You see that limb up there?
Uh-huh.
I'm up in the tree. Victor's supposed to be cutting the limb down. No, Victor isn't doing anything, but just being lazy. So anyway, I got up there and was sawing away. Well, the chickens got out. He said, "Alicia, you got to go get those chickens." I said, "What?"
She came to me. "Victor
Get
wants me to get the chickens." I said, "Well, get the
I'm
chickens."
chasing chickens. How in the world do you chase? How do you catch chickens?
I showed you.
Well, I didn't know at the time. You weren't around.
I showed her how to do it.
Yeah.
We got them in.
Anyway, that Victor. Yeah.
And how do you do it?
Well, whatever they get out of, they'll run back for it. So you just got to convince them to go back under the fence. And you can do it pretty easy just by taking their food. Just spread food and put it under the hole in the fence and throw some under the fence. They all go back under the hole and then you can fix the hole. Piglets do the same thing. If they get out and start running, if you shoot up in the air once, they'll stop and take off running for the hole they got out of the fence from. Not always, but on a general. I've shot up in the air and had them going 500 directions too, so it's not a guaranteed thing. You want to keep them in a pen. I'm just saying. That's very crazy. We had a lot of fun down there. And we stayed at a house that had bullet holes out in front of it, and I was wondering about whether we should be there or not, but no. And then Pepe, Pedro,
Pedro.
not Pepe. You like Pedro. Pedro's a good old guy, wasn't he? Pretty
I could have
artistic.
lived up on that cliff forever with Pedro. I could have.
It was beautiful what he'd done.
It was just a little hut
Gilligan's Island, though.
on a cliff, and you walk inside. He had the most beautiful, because he had all the time in the world. He's there by himself, except for the tourists that would come down and bring him food and water.
And buy pot for him. And trinkets.
But he made the most gorgeous ships from seashells, crosses, and all kinds of stuff that were just gorgeous, gorgeous.
But over the years, he'd planted trees and fruit trees and dug a well, and I mean, he had it going on there now. I mean, it was like Gilligan's Island. Remember the bees? Remember eating pelican breasts? That was really good, huh? Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. But that was really nice, though, that people would come down and bring him water and cases of water.
Well, he had dogs, so people would bring him dog food all the time. He had a whole pack of dogs. I mean, like that had just showed up. He didn't gather them. They just came and hang out because there was water and food. You know.
It was beautiful up there.
What about the whale skeleton? Remember that?
Oh, there were whale carcasses everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Humongous. And then the sea turtle.
Petrified sea turtles. Those were cool as fuck. Yeah, I had fun up there. I want to go back any day. I gotta try to fix this fucking lawnmower. I don't want to.
Or are you going to do it today? Go ahead.
I need to. Has the mail come yet, you think?
You don't remember?
Remember what?
I walked in and laid all the mail on the table and Pineland came in.
Did we get any?
That was all of our mail I went through, remember?
Baby, you didn't say anything
I
to me.
had
You
three
just
other
showed up
things,
with mail.
two hospital bills for me
Okay.
and Pineland.
Nothing else, huh?